like as we're talking, I'm also like thinking about how my attitude and what my attitude has been like to like money and like I think what you're saying about educating yourself, like because we get scared or because we build this picture in our head where everything is so confusing. Like man, like just hearing shares and mortgage, the word mortgage, you know, and you're like, oh, what is a mortgage? And
that's what I always say
automatically
to people,
like
you try to filter it out,
right? Filter it out, and you're like, I don't need to learn about it, and because I'm not there yet, I'll figure it out when I get there, type thing.
So to combat that, I try to get people to do as many things as possible,
right?
When they're in their like educating phase before they have to make the decision. So like, if you don't need a credit card, go get one.
Right.
Learn how that thing works.
Yeah.
Like, keep the limit at $100.
Just don't buy shoes like me.
Right?
Yeah.
But okay, I've just gone and got a credit card. Now I know how to apply for one.
Right.
Now I know what credit means.
Yeah.
I'm paying for something. I haven't even paid for it yet. Like, I've got to pay that balance in a month.
Yeah.
All right. There's an interest rate on that.
Yeah.
You know? So you've now educated yourself. Okay, that's how credit works. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
If you have $10,000 to buy your next car, go and see if you can get finance for the car.
Right.
Don't sign up for the finance, but figure it out. Okay, if I was to not have the 10 grand, this is how much it was going to cost me.
Yeah.
You know, that costs you nothing to go and see the bank and get the document.
Yeah.
You know, that's all their time. Yeah. And as soon as they give you the thing, rip it up, burn it away, and pay you 10 grand. But you just learned how it worked and how much it was going to cost you over 3 years. Like if just because it's not a brand new car, doesn't mean that you can't raise debt.
Yeah.
You know? So just learning about the things before you actually have to be forced to make a decision like get a mortgage.
Yeah.
That's a hard part. Like they don't teach you this in school, right?
No, man.
You're lucky enough if your parents teach you this.
Yeah.
But my dad didn't teach me how to finance a car.
Yeah.
He's like, don't even finance a car. Tell me not to. Yeah.
Hello and welcome to The Human Now, where we're discussing ideas around what it means to be in this state of time and more importantly, making positivity louder. My name is Akash and today I'm joined by Vinay and Alister from BetterCo. How's it going, guys?
Good morning.
Good morning. Good.
Thanks for inviting.
All good?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So before we get started and we get into our conversation, there's usually, we kind of have a formality around here about how we start our podcasts. So the golden question here is, do you guys fold or scrunch?
I'm a folder.
Nice.
I'm OCD.
Yeah, fold, I fold, man. We're accountants, man.
No messiness.
You should see the towel etiquette in our house.
Oh, yeah? Cool. All right. So today's topic of discussion kind of centers around money. You guys are accountants, is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I thought it'd be cool to get you guys in and talk about money and our relationship with it. How money's kind of like this topic which people kind of do talk about and they don't talk about, right?
Yeah.
When because it's something quite personal. People don't often share how they feel about it. Do you guys reckon?
Very personal, yeah. I mean, that's why people find it hard to talk about.
Yep.
It's kind of our job to change
Yeah,
that.
you know, even we're both accountants, sometimes it's hard to give advice to our mates as well.
Yeah.
It's something you feel embarrassed about sometimes, and about making money decisions and things you shouldn't be doing. But, you know, I try to encourage that with our clients, just, you know, share everything with us.
I find when the numbers are smaller, people are more happy to talk about it.
Yeah.
Right.
But when you start getting into buying a house or how much debt you have or whatever it is that you're going to buy, it's harder.
Hold on. Let me just check if I press record on this camera. No, we did. We're good.
That's all right.
Cool.
You know, like these little mini freakouts. You're like, man, did I do everything? Have I got? All right. So do you guys want to talk about? Let's start at BetterCo. If you guys talk about like why you created it, what is BetterCo, and what you guys are about.
Do you want to hit that one?
Yeah, man, sure thing. I think I came from a pretty corporate accounting background.
Cool.
Didn't like it, obviously.
Yeah.
Enjoy accounting, enjoy helping people, but just didn't like the whole mantra around, you know, grinding people too hard and the whole ethic around it.
Yeah.
I think Vinay might have feel the same way. So we created BetterCo. So, you know, we create different culture for staff that we hire as well.
Yeah.
especially for our clients. I mean, a lot of people want to grow their businesses but don't know how to. So we have we have a motto saying purpose, people, profit. Why is profit last? Why is it not first? It's because I think profit is a byproduct of your purpose.
Right.
Yeah, byproduct of value you bring to the world.
Yep.
And sometimes, how do you put yourself in a structure that brings that value and get compensated for it?
Yeah.
So you need to have a purpose, right?
Yeah.
But once you have a purpose, you got to have people behind it to back you.
Yeah.
And then the profit will just come naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we do a lot of, coaching, advisory, other than just compliance accounting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people do enjoy it.
Yeah. Go ahead. You're going to say something?
Well, just to double down on that, really.
Yeah.
It's like accounting is really important, like for sure. We're predominantly accountants, but we double down on that with the business advice.
Yeah.
And that's what's really lacking in New Zealand. So,
right.
Like when we think about like why is it that we exist as a business, it's like because we need to move the needle of New Zealand business. Like it's quite like, I know the thinking's a little bit small sometimes. And
how do you mean?
Like the ideas aren't shared, or a lot of people just create jobs for themselves rather than actually a real business.
Yeah.
And if we can teach them just a little bit more about what they're doing, they can go to that next level, like hiring someone, creating jobs and that sort of thing. Yeah. Whereas if you're just leaving your job because you're sick of being told what to do and just going and doing what you normally do day to day and trading time for money, you're just creating a job for yourself, and it's almost more stressful. Yeah. You might as well have a job and not have the stress. Yeah. So we just try to change that, take people from like here to here,
Yeah. Would you say then, like going back to what you're saying, is like even helping them to create a business with purpose, kind of nutting down on their why? And
it's pretty much the like first question we ask is like, why are you doing this?
Why you get out of bed in the morning, And sometimes it's hard as a business owner. There wear so many hats, right? You got to do HR, marketing, and finance, and bookkeeping, and strategy. And so we take a lot of the pressure off them, giving them some good advice and how to keep carrying on. Yeah.
Sometimes I always know why people got into business, and generally, like when it's their first business. Yeah. Most people get into business because they want to be their own boss. They want more flexibility, and they're going to make more money. And that's generally 9 times out of 10 why people start a business. Yep. They just have a skill set, and they know that they can do the same thing for themselves and make more money than they would on a salary. That's probably more true in the first 6 to 12 months than ever. Yep. And then after that's not so true. Yeah. You end up with probably more stress, less flexibility because you're working 24/7 and your boss are pretty much your clients. So
you don't work at 11 at night. You don't bring in money. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So how long have you guys been going for now?
So we originally started in August 2012.
Cool. Oh, so you guys have been going for quite some time.
Oh, I came in a bit later.
Yeah. Alister joined us end of 2017.
Yeah, December before Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how has that kind of grown, right? Because like for you guys, you've started this, but then you're also helping other people start. Yeah. Are you guys kind of seeing the same thing in like your business as you guys see in?
I think that's why we're so like we find it easier and easier to give advice because we've been there, done that. Yeah. We've had all the people problems. We've had the problems where you're like got too much capacity, not enough capacity in terms of your work. Bank balance is going down, bank balance is going up. Like we've had those problems. So we find that when we see somebody in business and they at a certain time frame or we see certain numbers, we almost know what the problem is. Yeah. And we can make it easier to give that advice.
Yeah. I think it made it easy because we're quite fortunate to have really good staff. Yeah. I think, and the culture is really good. It's a pretty young team, Yeah. Everyone's, helping together, always mulling together, help each other. Yeah. None of that toxic stuff, Yeah. It's good.
So my background is in architecture, and I just like anything and everything creative, right? And then the last thing I think I could think of doing would be like business and accounting. And like even in high school when you had like those option classes and you got to go and do like business for like, you know, like for a half a term or something. I just sat there and did nothing because I was like, man, I don't need this. But you kind of do away.
Dude, that's funny because me and Vinay both wanted to be architects.
Yeah,
and then
we did graphics design
we
and
kind of
art.
just decided that we weren't good enough at drawing.
So okay. So how did you guys get into accounting, and do you guys have a love and a passion for it?
Oh, it's a funny story, man. I worked at Harvey Furnishing selling curtains for like 8 years. So I know a lot of graphic design people or graduates that work with me, earning minimum wage. And I'm like, man, is it that hard to get a job if you do architecture and design? So in my last year of high school, I decided, I'm pretty good at algebra and stuff like that because I'm Asian, right? So I just applied for, just do commerce, accounting and finance. Because my auntie's a CPA, my cousin's a CPA too, and they're pretty lucrative career, you know? So it kind of got me into it. I hated accounting at first. You know, never thought I'd be a owner of an accounting firm. But I think during my first year of working, I realized accounting's not just numbers and sitting down. And I dive into the whole app advisory and technology and helping people with that. And and find it really fun, you know? I just went from there.
Mine was kind of a different journey. I remember walking through the school. I don't know why, but was walking through and decided, all right, this is the step I'm going to take. I'm going to be an accountant. I'm going to go to uni. I'm going to do accounting. I'm going to get my CA. I'm going to go get a job. I'm going to understand everything about accounting and finance. And then I'm going to start my own business. I was like, okay, that's the pathway. That's what I'm doing. And I think I was about 15, maybe 14 at the time. And then I kind of just went through and just nailed bit by bit. And then, I don't know, it just kind of changed. I never realize that accounting was going to be the business. I never wanted to fall into an accounting business so early, but just things happen for a reason, I guess.
And you guys enjoy it?
Yeah. That's why we always say, like, it doesn't feel like work most of the time. You know, like, obviously there's days where it feels like work. But most of the time it doesn't feel like work, and we pretty much work 24/7. Like, we don't have a 9 to 5.
Like, we don't just number crunch all the time. You know?
But we're not doing 12-hour days.
Like,
it's 24/7, but not 12.
It's just the lifestyle, right? It's that rather than working like your 9 to 5, this is not my job, but this is what I do.
Like, it's fun. We've got 5 directors, so we got a lot of ideas, and you should see our WhatsApp group chat at 9 p.m. at night. And when something's fired up, it's quite fun, you know. It's I guess it's going to be harder if you do it alone. If you start an accounting firm by yourself, definitely quite challenging because it can be quite mundane.
Business is lonely. And if you're an accountant in business, it's even more lonely. I can just imagine not having the collaboration we have. And like, things would just move slower. And it'd be really frustrating,
How do you guys manage? Like, how do you guys manage to keep? Like you said, there's 5 of you, right? How do you guys manage to keep everyone on the same level, headed to the same, like, in the same direction, keeping the same values?
I think that's the important part.
Values.
Like, if you have the same values, then it doesn't really matter about the direction. Like, we meet 3 times a week in the morning. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's our way at the moment of making sure we're always on the same page. Because there's 5 of us, so many. Don't want like one person going that way and then 4 of us thought, oh, we're going this way, and that person gets a little bit confused.
Or someone has a problem and hide it for 2 weeks before we know about it, you know? Just be transparent.
3 days a week we meet, and we go forth. But like, to start with all of that, like, the values is all about like being a good human, you know, like, are you a dick? No. Okay, tick. And like, what do you like when you're not at work? You know, do you open the door for people, kind of thing, you know, like, those things are important to us.
Just be a good guy,
even valuing relationships at home and family and stuff, that's quite important for us.
And just like, because accounting itself, when you think about accounting as a business, like Alister was saying, the industry from the last 30, 40 years, maybe 20 or 30 years, has been all about time and working the staff as hard as possible to get the best outcome. Whereas that whole mantra is kind of changing now, isn't it? It's
Everyone's, flexibility about working from home. Even the Big Four accounting is changing that a lot, and they're hiring people just to change that.
Yeah, they're now willing to let people spend time that's not charged and go and spend time with the client.
Yeah. You need to build those relationships, right?
Yeah.
Just get to know someone on like a human level.
Yeah.
And build that.
And that's how we started. I think that's the reason why we don't really have any client attrition. We don't lose clients.
Yeah.
Because they're not really clients. They're just like business partners and friends almost. Like,
yeah.
You know?
You got to build that rapport, right? And then it's kind of like, when something goes wrong, you just can ring up the phone and be like, all good, I'll take care of it. And they're like, sweet, they can trust you to do it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot based on trust.
Yeah.
It's really hard sell accounting to people.
Yeah.
It's, through referrals and clients, and it's about the relationship, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Accountants, Xero did a survey, and a small business survey, and accountants were at like 67th percent, like more trusted than doctors, lawyers, bookkeepers. So everyone else was below 20.
Yeah.
And there's no one in between, and then accountants were at 67%. So it just shows you that in our industry, or in the professional services space, we're like 3 times or 4 times more trusted than everybody else.
Is that because you guys got like the hard facts? Like, that you can project,
I don't know.
and
know
that this is like the answer.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. Well, you can't be a criminal to be a CA for first. So that's a good step. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess so. And maybe going back to your first comment about money.
Yeah.
People find it hard to have those conversations with people.
Yeah.
And so if they're talking to us about it, they obviously trust us.
Yeah.
And if we're looking after people's money after that, then they'll trust us even more.
Yeah.
So maybe that's where it comes from.
Yeah, I think it's the fact that we're an advisory firm, so we've seen a million numbers, through different businesses and different people, how they get there. So we kind of understand each person's journey.
Yeah.
So they trust you to know that, hey, you looked at quite a few people, how's that person doing? How's that person doing? We can't tell them, of course, for the sensitive numbers, but we do have a bigger eagle's eye view of how it works. Yeah.
Just speaking about money, what is your guys' relationship like with money, or how do you think about money?
Every day?
Interesting question. Like, you can go around the whole room or the whole world and ask one person to pick one word to describe money.
Yeah.
And it's quite different. Some people hate it. Some people call it evil.
Yeah.
Some people say it's, freedom and options. For me, I think it's options.
Right.
Yeah. Option to buy freedom, I guess. But I feel like money can be a screen as well. It's like alcohol, right? People drink it, it suppresses their reality.
Yeah.
And you can do that with money at the same time. You want to buy a nice car, nice shoe. Guilty. But does it actually bring you happiness and freedom? No, it doesn't. I've known a lot of people that, they've sold their business for millions of dollars. Yeah. They lie in bed one day, they've got all the money in the bank account. Do they feel free? I don't think so. Yeah. So it's quite a tricky. Yeah.
Yeah, I think money is important, and I mean, especially as you start to build a family, it becomes more important, I feel. Yeah. And like being a new dad, and this is maybe why I'm so like at the moment trying to almost impregnate into people's minds that, money needs to be one of those topics that you all sort in your lives. Yeah. Because you can't just tick along and expect it to be okay. Like, health is one, but so is wealth. It is one of the 4 things that I focus on. So I go health, wealth, love, and happiness. Those are the 4 things. I don't care about anything else. Yeah. And so when people are like, are you all about money? I'm like, no, but it's one of my 4 principles. Like, I have to have that section sorted.
You need that balance.
Because my brain works like that, and Yeah. If I haven't got that part sorted, it gives me stress. So then I'm not happy. It's an imbalance.
Yeah, I think for me, the way I think about money is that it's like utility to help you. Like, if I say if I wanted to do this podcast, right, then I need to get this. I need to get these things, and to get these things, I need to have this amount of value to purchase everything.
Yes. So it's not like the money that gives you the happiness or the freedom or whatever you want to call it, but it gave you the option to buy this equipment. Yeah. And do this, which gives you the creative side, which makes you happy.
Exactly.
It's funny because everyone's relationship with money, it's very different, right? It depends on the journey that you go on. Some people come from the riches, some people don't. And that affects your relationship with money as well. Yeah, if I was born to a rich family, I think I'd think really differently as of what I have today. Yeah.
Relationship with money is the hardest part. So like it's really important.
Yep.
But your relationship with money can change at any point.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's that journey, I think.
It's that journey, yeah. Like I remember like when I was a kid, I used to have my wallet. I always used to forget my wallet, and my dad always he still gives me shit about it. He's like, "Do you have your wallet today? Are you paying for lunch?" But like I was so tight with money because I was like, man, I know what I want to do. Like I need to save this $20, you know?
Yeah.
And I used to find it really hard to part way with a $20 t-shirt, say. That hasn't changed, you know, like that's still ingrained in me, you know, like I hate buying stuff. Like I just hate it. I don't go shopping because I don't want to part with my money because I want to go and buy property. I want to invest it. I want it to do stuff for me rather than like just trade it for something right now. And so I've got that relationship with money, but I don't want it to turn into something else where I stop having fun because I'm like, holding on to the cash or whatever, you know?
It's a whole mindset thing, eh? You know, what I hate the most is, you know, those online business gurus and stuff, business coach. They tap into people's insecurity about their relationship with money.
Right.
They say, hey, you know, you want to make $5,000 a day in 3 easy steps. There's no easy step, man. There's no free lunch on Wall Street. You know, and it's quite dangerous. I mean, you can get money easy, but, you know, chances are it's probably illegal or it's unethical or it taps into your greed like casinos and things. And those don't really end well. Yeah.
That's interesting because, like, we go to youth class, and we talk about everything we learn is pretty much from the Gita, right? So, so from Hinduism, but how to apply it in life, and it was interesting what they were talking about, and I think it kind of relates back to what you guys were saying in terms of like the purpose with how you guys work at BetterCo and when you start up a business, working with purpose. So it just reminded me when you talked about even getting money illegally. So you can acquire money illegally or you can even acquire it legally. But even when doing that, you're doing it for only yourself, you know, and no one around you is benefiting. But then when you've changed the mindset to self-inclusiveness and you're including everyone, then everyone like benefits. And it's just a bit more prosper and
good.
It just feels better than just one person.
Yeah. So how they say that like giving is better than taking, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing with money. You feel way better when you give money away rather than spend it on yourself. And no one really knows why.
Yeah.
You don't go to a 5-star restaurant, order the best steak and pay $200 and sit there by yourself, right? It feels better to bring your missus and your family and stuff. See, that's the same concept.
Cool. I just want to also now talk about things like debt. What do you guys think about student debt?
Student debt?
Yeah.
I actually did a video on it the other day. Did I post it? I don't think I posted it.
I don't think I've seen it. Yeah.
Well, good
because
point.
So this is where it kind of comes from, right? So there's everyone in high school, and they're still trying to figure out what they want to do in life, right? And then it's probably about year you'd have to say year 10. You got to kind of decide because in year 11 you start NCEA, and that means from NCEA level 1 to 3,
you got to pick a paper.
You got to pick your papers so that you get entrance into the right uni courses. So at year 10, I don't know how old you are, probably about 13, 14, you know? And you got to kind of decide what I want to be in my... And when I grow up, right? And then say you pick the wrong thing, you go through high school, get into uni, end up doing a course you don't like, you've acquired all this debt.
Yeah.
Right? And now...
I think education's important though. Like you got to take a chance, I think, on a couple of things. And if you can do multiple things at high school and uni, so like do a conjoint, might cost you an extra $4 or $5,000. But then you've got 2 pathways. I'd be happy for anyone to take on that debt. I think spending money on education, yes, like tick.
Right.
Whether debt's a good idea to do that. It's whenever you're spending money that doesn't feel like your money, it's hard. It's so much easier to spend it. So my video the other day was about, because my cousin actually asked me, she's like, look, she's on a scholarship, right? And she's got the opportunity to do something else, another paper that's going to cost her money. And she said, "Oh, look, I'm working at the moment. Should I just pay down the student debt, or should I just take the debt and then, once I start working, I'll pay it off then?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Do you have the money now?" And she's like, "Yeah." I was like, "What else are you going to do with the money?" She's like, "I'll just save it. I'll just put it in a savings account." And I was like, "Do you know what the savings returns are?"
Yeah.
And she was like, "No." I'm like, "Go have a look at that number and multiply that by what's in the savings account. And you come back and tell me what your answer is."
Yeah.
And like, so she never came back to me, but I think because she probably looked at it and was like, "Oh,"
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went back to her and I did the video and I said, "Look, my position has completely changed on this from when I was at uni. So when we were at uni, it was all about, oh my God, student loans are interest free.
Yeah.
Let's take the free debt."
Yeah.
But once I started working, very quickly I wanted to buy a property.
Yeah.
And having a student debt or student loan reduces your income.
Yeah.
Which means you can borrow less.
Yeah.
Which means you can't go and buy the house.
Yeah.
And it was a really small amount of debt. I think it was like 15 grand or something.
Yeah.
Like to have an education or certificate, that's kind of small money to pay. But I said to her, just pay the debt off because you're going to leave uni. Like 99% of people don't with no debt because she's already on a scholarship. As soon as she gets a job in the creative industry as well, she's going to be able to go in, she's in the property area, she's going to be able to go and do that straight away.
Yeah.
Whereas the person sitting next to her probably isn't.
Debt. Yeah.
Probably isn't going to be able to raise any debt. So pay down, it's still good debt. Student loans are still good debt. But if you have the option to pay it down, pay it down. It's my opinion now.
Because I'm thinking this is what my thinking's been for quite a while. It's like, we've got all this debt, right? And then how do people afford a house?
Yeah. Well, student loan repayments, what's the percentage now? 19%?
It's 12% for any income above 30-something K from memory.
19K, sorry, yeah. It's 12.5% for anything above $19,000
You're going to have to spell this all out for me because
okay, so let's say
I don't understand anything.
Let's say you're in 50K,
right?
And the first 19,000, let's call it 20, round numbers, you don't pay anything back towards your student loan. So you got 30 grand left.
Right.
So 12.5% of that 30 grand goes back to paying your student loan back.
Yeah.
So what's that? 3.5, 4 grand a year. So now you've only got 25 round numbers. And then you get taxed on that.
Yeah.
So there's actually not much left.
So when you buy a house, right, the bank look at serviceability.
Yeah.
And if you've got that 12% coming out of your wages every time, even though it's for the next, let's say you pay it off in 4 years, they'll think it's going to go on forever.
Yeah.
Because they look at now and the future. So it's quite dangerous. So if you have let's say 2 grand of student loan left, just pay it off in full and buy the house.
Right.
Yeah, the bank will immediately increase its serviceability.
Yeah.
So that's a little trick. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess that is the thing, eh? It's like a hack.
Yeah.
Like doctors walk out with nearly 100 grand's worth of debt or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
People are like, how do you ever pay that back? No, because they make 300-400 grand a year. Well, yeah, but they have 300-400 grand a year of lifestyles. Pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're still paying it back after 3 years. Yeah. Whereas if you have a good relationship with money and you know what you want to do and you hate debt, man, that'll be slammed within the first year probably.
I think that's another topic, man. Getting money and debt into certain lifestyles. I think your lifestyle really determine what your happiness is going to be. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You want to talk a little bit more about that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I battled that in uni. You know, you get part-time income, you get student allowance.
Yeah.
You buy that $300 Jordans. I remember one time in uni, I'll go on 2 weeks on instant noodles in my flat just to buy a pair of shoes. That's a toxic relationship. I do not recommend that to anyone. Don't.
But it feels good, man.
Yeah. Would you do that now? Would you go on 2 weeks of instant noodles
to buy a house,
so you could go in and buy an investment property?
Yeah,
well, let's say not 2 weeks. Let's say 6 months on no eating out.
Because it appreciates, right?
But would you do that now?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Can you start tomorrow?
I'm already starting it.
Oh, true. Yeah. So that's the thing, right? So you learned that principle back then that if I sacrifice this for 2 weeks, I can get this thing.
Right.
Yeah. So now you
just scale it up based on.
But it depends what you're saving
for a house.
Yeah.
Another house. So he's like, all right, I'm gonna cut back expenses for a couple of months, and it will just pay for all the legal bills and stuff for the transaction. You know,
Yeah.
it's like the mentality you need to have. Otherwise, you're gonna have more debt.
Yeah.
Yeah, but don't do it on shoes, man. That's the worst thing. But I think I battled it. I got through it.
Yeah.
I said, look, I look at my shoes and I can even sell it for like $100 resale.
Yeah.
Not worth any money. It's not giving me any value in life. And I slowly learned that when I started working and when I started grinding and accounting. It's like, man, money's hard, eh? Money's real hard to get. So I slowly shift away. And I know a lot of my mates and younger millennials as well, they get into the cycle of keeping up with the Kardashians sort of lifestyle.
Yeah.
You get a 50K salary out of uni, right? Then you get a pay rise. What do you do with the pay rise? Let's say you get 60K, you get a $10,000 pay rise. You go and buy a new bag, an LV, $8,000. You get a new wallet, new shoes, go and party.
Yeah.
That costs you a few $100 a night. So all of a sudden you're back to square one.
Yeah.
So you don't actually add any value to your life.
You haven't changed anything.
Yeah, you got this little bag here,
Yeah.
or a little shoe here, but your life hasn't changed.
Right.
So if you get stuck into the mentality, you're always going to be back to square one.
Yeah.
You can be making 180 grand a year.
Yeah.
But if you have that 180 grand lifestyle of buying Ferraris and going on yachts and stuff,
Yeah.
you're as rich as a person earning 50K.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you guys recommend to do with that? So you got that 50K, right? And then that 60K the pay rise is 60K. What do you do with that 10,000?
Just live the same. Just don't do anything.
But where do you put that 10,000?
You either invest it, things will go up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we always recommend, either shares or property. Those are the two, you close an eye and most people will make some money out of it if you do it right.
Yeah.
The thing with money, there's levels, right?
Yeah.
Like when you're at uni and you're on a part-time salary, you're working 16 hours a week.
Yeah.
Your money is just there to buy your food and your accommodation or whatever, right? And then you get your first job, and then your money is now there, so you can buy your first car for going to work, or catching the bus or whatever. Your expenses start to go up because you're traveling further and further every day, and then you need to buy a new suit or whatever if you're an accountant or so your expenses are going up, and then you might get a pay rise, and then you're on 50K, and then you can be all right, I need to level up a little bit just to be on par with the next senior guy or whatever.
Yeah.
It's okay, cool. I'm going to use that money to level up. And then you might be on 50, 60 grand. But then until you get to a number where you have options.
Yeah.
Then what do you do with it? Your life is not going to change much.
Right.
The income has to go up almost significantly for you to actually put money into something for it to change.
Yeah. So do you just keep it in the bank then?
No.
Right.
If it's 5 to 10 grand a year, like we were talking about before, education, maybe you should be spending it on that.
Right. Okay.
How to do a podcast or how to spend the money on yourself and your education in those years of 20 to 30.
Yeah.
If you're doing that, do a property course or whatever, do that.
We're so fortunate now that education is free. If you want to learn how to be a property guru or share trading, guru, you can just jump on YouTube and just, look at these stuff. So many free courses out there. So we're quite fortunate in our era.
Yeah.
I think what we did when we got pay rises was we just dabbled in the share market. $50 here, $100 there.
Right.
Because it almost feels like not your money.
Yeah.
And not talking about 5 grand or 10 grand, but $50 because that's education.
Yeah.
Okay, we learned how to buy some shares.
Yeah.
We actually signed up for the platform. We bought some shares for $50.
Yeah.
Now we own 50 shares of some company.
Right.
So you're okay, what does that even mean? So it's just this rabbit hole you go down and you're okay, wonder how many shares the actual company has. And then you're it's got 2 billion shares. You're okay, I'm not even a % shareholder.
And how do I make more money from that $50?
But now you go, okay, if that was 50,000, what would have happened?
Right.
Okay, I still buy it the same way.
Yeah.
I just now own a bigger percentage.
Yeah.
So I think with the difference of 10 grand, that's what I did.
Yeah.
I just did those small things I'll put $50 here, $100 here and work out how that works, Yeah.
See, this is a small journey for us, right? And each of us have a different journey. If you look at people like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, they're not talking about $50 here, man. They sold their companies for a few hundred millions back then.
Yeah.
and they've just got into this whole cycle and purpose. They want to reinvest it into this beast of an empire to make billions of dollars.
Yeah.
So they get on that buzz, and I think they're a whole another realm compared to us, you know?
Yeah. Those guys are like geniuses. You know, their brains never stop.
Yeah. They're 1%.
The money actually means nothing to those guys.
Yeah.
They just want to go to the moon.
Yeah.
They've got their 100K already, you know, to spend as their living lifestyle. Everything else is just their passion.
I think when he sold PayPal, he put all the money into the next business and then slept under the desk. Something like that, yeah.
Who's this?
Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It might have been Tesla that
I'm
put
not
the money
sure.
into. I can't remember which
not
company.
SpaceX, is it?
SpaceX, it might have been.
Yeah.
But he got the hundreds of millions. This is in the 2000s. And then he put all of it back into the new business.
Most people would have just bought a Lamborghini or Ferrari and retired, right? But these people are just different, you know, different than us.
So the money meant nothing.
Yeah.
And see, his relationship with money is so different.
Mm. Yeah, that was interesting what you guys were saying. It's almost like profit comes second.
Last.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, true.
It's a byproduct, byproduct of the
Yeah.
value you bring to the world, I think.
Yeah, like if you're doing it for the money, you're doing it for the wrong reasons, then it feels like work.
Yeah.
That's what Alister was saying. Like if you can get the other things right, like why you're doing it, and almost not break that relationship with the money, then you're going to do better. Feel better too.
Would you almost say not even to think about it and just to solely think about
you still think about it.
I think about it.
Do you know what I mean? Like think about it, but
because we've seen some dreamers.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
Like people come into our office and they have a plan or whatever, and we're like, man, do you even know what you're doing? Like,
right.
Like we're all for people having dreams and stuff like that, but like you need to get ABC 1, 2, 3 in a line.
Yeah.
And know where, okay, if I'm going to hire 100 people, where's the money coming from? You know, like don't just go, 100 salespeople. If they make $5,000 each, it's going to be this. Da, da, da. Okay, cool. I need 2 admin. Okay, yep. Da, da, da. Oh yeah, cool. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Like, no, you need to, like money is an important part of business
For sure.
You need to need that.
Everyone sees those $1 million tech startup companies and want to be there, right?
Yeah.
But man, to get there, you don't know the sacrifice they've made and the journey they've done.
Right.
Yeah, it's not an easy journey sometimes, and people forget that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking about millionaires, do you guys think it's to reach $1 million is realistic in today's like society?
Can't even buy a house in Mount Roskill with $1 million.
Yeah.
Realistic as in like getting to $1 million?
Yeah. Do you think it's still like a relative term?
Nah. So they did a study about 5 years ago in Sydney.
Yeah.
The new millionaire was 7 million.
The inflation and everything.
So if you still want to be a millionaire, you're actually a 300,000 now. Do you know what I mean?
You know how much
if
was
you
the
make
first?
$1 million
How much was the first iPhone? Was it now 2,100?
Like, my dad saying to me yesterday, he's like, "Man, you guys are crazy. Those new iPhones are $2,500,000," and I'm like, "Yeah, but I can afford to buy one. The person at uni shouldn't even have one."
Yeah.
Like that's that.
But they need to have one because their mates have one,
Their
right?
mates have one.
Yeah.
Going back to the question, is it possible? 100% is possible.
Yeah.
Should people be trying to achieve it? 100% we think that they should be trying to achieve it.
Right.
Is it $1 million anymore?
Nah.
It's a lot more than that.
Yeah. We did a calculation, me and my wife, we need about 50K to pay our mortgage, our like bare minimum.
Yeah.
Petrol, food and everything. 50K for the both of us. If we have $1 million, we could just
for 10 years.
Yeah.
It's not enough.
Yeah, with inflation and everything.
Yeah.
You could just not work and do nothing. For 10
Yeah.
years. But after 10 years, you got to scramble back and cry, beg your boss for a job back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's where why it's so important to me now that people need to have a relationship with money. Because it's easier now, this is my belief, to make $1 million than it used to be, because we have the internet, you can do your whole life on your iPhone.
Yeah.
But $1 million is not going to be enough.
Yeah.
So that's a scary thought. If it's easier to make $1 million and you stop at $1 million, like if you get there, if you stop, it's still not going to be enough.
Yeah.
So if it's easier, why don't we go and micro it down to hundreds and then 50s and then 10s and do little bits and go, okay, what can I use this device for to make 10 grand or 50 grand or whatever?
Right. Yeah.
And then as you go and learn those little things, you can go, okay, yeah, 1 million is now attainable.
Yeah.
Because if it's so far-fetched for you, becoming a real millionaire, which they think is 7 million 5 years ago in Sydney, probably 10 million
what
now.
is that now?
Like, that's scary, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're just thinking about like, I need $1 million to buy a house. But that's just to get the house, man. You still got to maintain it. You still got to feed your family. You still got to...
The rates are $5,000 a year. You
Exactly,
know?
man. Like, how are you even going to put your kid through school if you don't even...
Yeah, well, if you think about our parents, right? When they bought houses in Auckland 20, 30 years ago, 30 years ago.
100K. Like.
Yeah, my dad bought his first house for 160 grand, right? Down the road. And ignoring interest rates, because relevant conversation, but the amount he was earning compared to the price of the house would have been 3 or 4 times, right?
Yeah.
So he let's just say for argument's sake, he was on 40,000 and the house was 160. So salary to house 4 times. Right now, it's like 10 times in Auckland.
20, you know, if you're earning 50K, $1 million house is...
Yeah. Like, that's a big difference.
Yeah.
So,
So what do you do?
what do you do?
Just don't freak out, you know?
That's why I think it's a really important, like, part. Like, okay, going to the gym is important, but spend just as much time on figuring out what it is. Because, like, property is not for everybody. I love property.
Right.
Like, I love it. But I wanted to be an architect. So clearly, I liked it from way back.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But some people are going to hate property. Some people are going to hate architecture.
Yeah.
Some people are going to hate shares. Those are just 2 avenues. Like, you can be a YouTuber.
Yeah.
We have clients who are YouTubers
who
make $1 million a year each. When we found out
crazy.
about this, we were like, what? They just make YouTube videos and they make $1 million a year.
Yeah.
Crazy. So you don't need to be in property or something. Like, if you do something for a good reason, like, you know why you're doing it. Okay, I'm having fun and blah, blah, blah. And people want the content. Cool. Like, then the money comes afterwards.
Yeah, I think it's important to get numb to it. Like, you look at a $2 million Auckland house in Epsom.
Yeah.
Just try not to get angry, because I do that a lot of times.
Yeah.
I'm like, why is, man, you look at the house prices, right? Used to be 500,000 6 years ago. It's $1 million, 1.5 now. It's pretty insane. And sometimes you feel angry, but sometimes you get over it. Yeah. You just got to look, how do I get there?
Yeah, like, who are we angry at? We're like angry at the government and the generations before us.
It's just outside of your control.
But they had other problems. They had war.
Yeah.
Like, you know, would you rather war or higher house prices?
Yeah.
True. That's so true.
It's sort of like our parents probably went through a few recessions in their lifetime, and some scary ones, you know, in the 2008, even the Asian, you know, recession in Tokyo. But that really changes their mindset as well. Like, my parents, they've got a mortgage-free house in Roskilde, and they're pretty happy. You know, they say, I don't need any more. I don't want, you know, bloody 5 to 10 rentals like you guys. But, you know, our journey is a lot different than them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've just picked an avenue of, I guess, how to make the million. You know?
Yeah.
But there are so many different ways to do it.
Yeah.
Some millionaires rent forever.
Yeah.
You know, they rent a penthouse in Sydney and just run the tech company and still get paid well.
Yeah. Like, we've got, let's just say, call it 500 clients, right?
Yeah.
Probably more businesses than that.
Yeah.
Because clients have more than one business.
Yep.
That alone gives you the answer of there is no right way to do it.
Yeah.
Because if someone said, where are the areas that people make money? I'm like, I don't have enough fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah. It depends who's running the ship as well, right? Some people sell tires and glass and make millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
we heard of a recent story of a Japanese guy living in Auckland.
Yeah.
And he was making way over $1 million in early 2000s. And all he was doing was getting rolls of sellotape like this wide. And his sole factory's job was to cut these up. That sellotape would get sent to Japan and sold for a higher price. That was it. That was the only thing they did.
Sounds simple, eh?
Sounds so simple.
It is.
And like, who would ever think that you could make millions doing that?
Yeah.
Is that fulfilling? Probably not, but I bet you he did some more fulfilling things with the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine the guy who invented the toothpick.
Yeah.
You know? Like, oh,
He
damn.
would have got ripped off the second day though.
Or the ketchup twist top, you know, little things like
Yeah.
that, you know. I think a lot of time it's luck as well, you know. You don't fall into these things often. If I tell you right now, Vinay, you can make $1 million cutting sellotape.
I'll go do it.
Yeah, I'll do it. But no one would have told you that.
Yeah.
Right? Someone must have told him. He must have came across someone or something
Yeah.
that made him do it. Yeah.
He made a decision. He was Japanese. He came to New Zealand. He lived in Auckland. That's a decision he would have made years and years ago.
Yeah.
So he's now educated himself on the New Zealand market and the Japanese market, and saw a gap, and knew a guy, and filled the gap.
Yeah.
There was no bento bowls here 20 years ago, man. It's all fish and chips and pies. You know?
Yeah.
Gave up a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's it's interesting what you guys are saying, because it's kind of like as we're talking, I'm also like thinking about how my attitude and what my attitude has been like to like money and like I think what you're saying about educating yourself, like because we get scared, or because we build this picture in our head where everything is so confusing. Like, man, like just hearing shares and mortgage, the word mortgage, you know, and you're like, oh, what is a mortgage? And
that's what I always say to
automatically
people,
like
You try to filter
hard,
it out.
right?
Yeah,
filter it out, and you're like, I don't need to learn about it.
Yeah.
And because I'm not there yet, I'll figure it out when I get there type thing.
So to combat that, I try to get people to do as many things as possible
Right.
when they're in their like educating phase before they have to make the decision. So like, if you don't need a credit card, go get one.
Right.
Learn how that thing works.
Yeah.
Like, keep the limit at $100.
Just don't buy shoes like me. Eh?
Right?
Yeah.
But okay, I've just gone and got a credit card. Now I know how to apply for one.
Right.
Now I know what credit means.
Yeah.
I'm paying for something. I haven't even paid for it yet. Like, I've got to pay that balance in a month.
Yeah.
All right. There's an interest rate on that.
Yeah.
You know? So you've now educated yourself. Okay, that's how credit works. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
If you have $10,000 to buy your next car,
Yeah.
go and see if you can get finance for the car.
Right.
Don't sign up for the finance, but figure it out. Okay, if I was to not have the 10 grand, this is how much it was going to cost me.
Yeah.
You know, that costs you nothing to go and see the bank and get the document.
Yeah.
You know, that's all their time.
Yeah.
And as soon as they give you the thing, rip it up, burn it away, and pay you 10 grand. But you just learned how it worked and how much it was going to cost you over 3 years. Like, if just because it's not a brand new car, doesn't mean that you can't raise debt.
Yeah.
You know? So just learning about the things before you actually have to be forced to make a decision, like get a mortgage.
Yeah.
That's a hard part. Like, they don't teach you this in school, right?
No, man.
You're lucky enough if your parents teach you this.
Yeah.
But my dad didn't teach me how to finance a car.
Yeah.
He's like, don't even finance a car. Tell me not to. Yeah.
So did you just learn through work or?
Yeah, through work. I mean, you see enough. I think we're quite fortunate because we're in the accounting industry.
Yeah.
You see rentals, you see finances, you see company debt. But if you're not, I think it's just more about networking with people, exposure, and getting more exposure to other things.
Yeah, and half of it's curiosity.
Yep.
Like, you have to be curious. Like, if you're
So
not,
I'll be calling you guys up more often then.
Yeah, sure.
By all means.
Yeah.
That's how we
Hit us
work.
up. Facebook, WhatsApp.
like, you're curious about the creative world, right?
Yeah.
You'd know like hundreds of things about creativity that we'd have no idea even exist.
Yeah.
You know? So we're curious about money in the finance world and that, right? So we're naturally just going to be inquisitive and go and learn some stuff.
Yeah.
So it doesn't all happen through work, but like you're generally that's already ingrained in you from a young age.
Yeah.
You know, like you fall into particular subjects at uni or high school, and you have conversations at home or with your friends. You know, and like my dad used to make me do the filing at home.
Right.
And so I like didn't even have to do it, but he would like be like, okay, get all the bank statements and put them in that one. If it's got this name and it's that bank and it's this account number.
Yeah.
My dad's crap with money.
Yeah.
Like in terms of making money, but
Yeah.
good to like keep it.
Yeah.
And so like do that, cool. And I remember seeing this one document. I was like, this one doesn't have an account number. And he was like, oh, that's a loan document. I was like, okay, cool. How does this, what does that mean? And he was like, oh, that's the loan for the car.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Why do you have a loan for the car? And he was like, because the car was gone, that particular car. And I was like, why do you have a loan for that car? And he was like, well, I took a loan out when we bought it. I'm like, yeah, but the car's gone.
Yeah.
Like, it was written off. Like, why do you still have a loan for it? And he explained to me at that point that, okay, just because the car was written off, I still had a loan on it, but the insurance only paid me out X.
Yeah.
So there was a difference. And so he didn't have the money to just clear the loan. So now he was paying a higher interest rate because there was no asset attached to the loan. And he was there was still like $4,000 or something left. And I was like, man, that's really unfair. Yeah. Like, this drunk guy wrote off my mum's car. Lucky she wasn't in it. Yeah. But like, the bank's not got their money, but we don't have the car. Why should we pay for it? Like, I was as a kid, you know? Yeah. I was like, that guy wrote it off, you know? Yeah. But because he got away and all that, like, it just comes down to you.
Whoa.
You know, that was my first lesson in insurance and like agreed value.
Imagine learning that as a kid. Yeah, it is what it is, you know? Like,
And it was scary. I remember thinking, I was like, Dad, that wasn't even your fault. And you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Imagine if he didn't understand why and just refused to pay for it. It would have just grown bigger and bigger and bigger. Yeah. Problem's not going to go away. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, there's too much to learn. How does like all of this translated into your lives now? And like,
I call it like structure or like organized.
You mean all this money stuff,
money, and just like your outlook on life, and you know, how does that fit, how does this all fit in with?
It's hard not to be stingy as an accountant, eh? You know, you look at everything. You're like, oh, I know this guy. His margin. If you go to a cafe for lunch, right? Yeah. You pay $25 for a pancake or whatever. You know, it costs you $5 to make it.
Yeah,
you know?
I know exactly what you're talking about, because I'll go sit in there and I'll start looking around at the building and being like, oh, you know, he's done this and they've done this for this. Yeah.
Oh, but there's a reason why they charge $25. If not, they can't feed their family. So So it's just like, I think I definitely look at property a lot different, especially in Auckland, right? Because it appreciates all the time. Yeah. And I think that's a good way to get into that sort of security for your family and lifestyle. Yeah. Yeah.
I think for me, I just picked an avenue now. Like, you know, I did a lot of small little things like shares and this and that. And then I'm like, okay, now like property is the way I'm going to grow my wealth. The BetterCo business is the way where I make my income and help clients and all of that, right? Yep. And there's the share value and all of that. They're great. But like we were talking before, $1 million is not going to be enough. Yeah. Like, we probably need to get to 10 these days. But am I obsessed with it? No. Like,
right. Yeah.
Definitely not.
Doesn't rule your life, eh?
Yeah. No.
If I don't have 10 property today, I'm not going to go home and cry. You know, I'm happy with what I have. Yeah. But I know that I can provide a better life for my family if I just work a little bit harder.
Yeah. 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 Like, people probably get sick of me talking about it at times. Yeah. But I'm passionate about it, so I'm like, dude, I can help you. Like, you know? I've helped heaps of friends get into houses and stuff, you know? Yeah. And that to me is a good feeling. I'm not like giving away any money or anything, but like, I know how to do it, so I might as well help you. Yeah. You know, and that's a good feeling. So.
Yeah, interesting fact. Like 94% of our staff all owns their own property, and we help them get there as well. You know, when they come in with, I was like, oh, I earn $50K. I'm never going to buy a house. Like it's $1 million, right? Yeah. But there's so many ways to go about it. Right. It's about problem solving, I guess, at times. And
I think that's what we enjoy as well about like money is, it's just solving problems generally. Yeah. You know. Yeah, like buying a house. Oh, you can't do it. All right, let me see. What are the
Oh, there's this.
You're wrong, man. You can't do
it. I just to go right back to the start. I think it's a really important component. Cool. And it's just a one string to your bow. You know. Yeah. Like, you still got to look after all the rest: the family, the friends, the health. Yeah. Your happiness and all of that. Yeah. Money's just a small part, but an important part.
Yeah. What do you guys do in your spare time? Do you guys have spare time? Is spare time even a thing?
I don't work all day, you know. Like, go to the gym,
Yeah.
play some computer games sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
You should show us your bicep.
No, not on camera. I saw Rex was here the other day. I don't want to show off too much.
Yeah, I don't know. For us, in summer I play cricket when I can, spend time with Zaya now. Yeah, family, friends, like you just go through different like stages of life. And I think at the moment for us, like things are a lot slower.
Yep.
Because Zaya's only 6 months old. And so like naturally spare time is with her.
Yeah.
Like that's the spare time.
Yeah.
And then you got to consciously like pick those times. Like Saturdays, I'm like, okay, I'll play cricket that day.
Yeah.
But I got to give something else up, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's always spare time.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's an obsession, right?
Yeah. Cool. Is there
Or an
anything else?
Or an addiction.
Yeah. Can be dangerous. I think even just going on there, it's like learning to just switch your brain off, or switch your mind off and put your mind onto something else.
Yeah.
Because I often find myself like always thinking about, I could get some work in here, or I'm not doing enough. Like even in the weekends, like, you've got your 5 days a week, but just when you could keep going and you're like, but your body's like, nah, man, you just need to chill out.
Yeah.
You're probably project based as well, right? So like got deadlines and stuff to meet.
Yeah.
But then is a project ever really finished? Like,
Well, it comes in waves. You'll have the time where you really need to get stuff done. So you'll be working those hours, and there'll be other times where things are kind of on hold and everything's steady, and you can just be like, cool, just take it easy now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep it systematic.
Yeah.
But creatives never stop,
Nah.
Yeah, mine's always buzzing,
Yeah. But I think you can also relate it back to what you guys are saying as well. It's like if you're passionate about something, it's more about you are this type of person, right? And this is what makes you happy and fulfilled. And so if you're not thinking about that and you're thinking about something else that doesn't bring you happiness, why are you doing that?
Why are you doing it, Like working at 9 p.m. on a Friday with the lights on dim and smashing some financial statements is nobody's idea of fun.
Yeah.
Like I can guarantee you it's nobody's idea of fun.
Yeah.
But there are people that do it.
Yep.
Break the cycle, I reckon.
But even if some people don't love it, their love for their family or being able to provide for themselves is so great that they overcome that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they put a filter on, just do it.
Yeah.
But, imagine doing that for 50 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll burn you out.
Yeah.
The Asians and Indians are good at it.
What if your
For sure.
What if your wife left you and you don't have that love anymore? What do you do? What's your purpose in life?
Yeah.
So that's really dangerous.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Was there anything else that you guys wanted to talk about? Like anything in general?
No, if anything for me, I just want to see more people like care about their financial future,
Yeah.
Because it's going to get harder and harder to live in major cities. And if you want to live in cities like Auckland, you're going to have to make some decisions now and every year to make sure you're not screwed when you're 50 or 60 or 65. My grandma lived to 97. So retire at 65, you still got to fund 32 years of your life.
Yep.
How are you going to do that?
Yep.
That's I think that's what I'm passionate about at the moment, is making sure that more of my friends and family are like thinking about the future and where the money is going to come from.
Yeah.
Gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Amps you up.
Yeah. But it's also a scary thought. Like because I care about it. Like I never want to detach from people who don't care about it as well.
Yeah.
Like I want to make sure I stay attached to those people too.
Yeah.
So that's what I was talking about. Like the relationship with the money thing. It shouldn't take me over. I don't want it to take me over. Like,
It's funny because we're trapped in a society where you need to have a relationship with money.
Yeah.
What if you just go back to the Stone Age and picking apples and growing cows?
Yeah.
You don't need interest rates. You don't need mortgages. You don't need foreign exchange and things like that. It's all just induced by human beings, and it's just interesting, Yeah.
So if you want to live in a major city, you have to understand it and work with it.
Right.
Or
you cannot ignore it
and go somewhere where you don't have to. Like you can live in the outskirts of Bali, for example, and not have to understand any of it.
Yeah.
And life is cheap.
Yep.
So But that's a conscious decision, right? Like if you're going to go do that, then go and do that.
Yeah.
That's the thing you've chosen to do.
Yeah. Cool. Well, when we round off our podcast, we always end with 2 questions. What does it mean to be human, and what does it mean to be now? So to you guys, what does it mean to be human?
Do you want to go first, or should I go first?
Oh, you go first. Huh? It's a deep question.
Wait. Also, just before we get into it, why is it a deep question? Why do you say it's a deep question?
Well, you asked me that a while back, and it took me a long time to think about it.
Yeah.
Why are we human? And it really caught me off guard, to be honest.
Yeah.
Not the kind of question you think every day.
Do you think it should be though?
Yeah, it should be. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I should be asking myself this question more often.
Yeah.
And I asked my wife as well, and it's interesting to hear her thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me it all changed about 3 or 4 years ago. I reckon I got more accustomed to it,
right?
Because I never really had thought about it before. And then like you move out of home, and then like all these things happen, right? Like and then you start to think about all these, like, what am I doing in my life? What are other people doing with their life? And I think for me, like, what does it mean to be human? Like, be a nice person, like have faith. Like, it doesn't have to be religious. Like I'm not religious.
Yeah.
But I have faith in like society and humanity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you have to have faith for the future. But yeah, for me, it all just comes down to being a good person. Like if it's money, don't rip people off. If it's an old person, help them cross the road. Like to me, that's what being human is. And there's lots of little things like look after your health, look after your money, look after your love and your happiness.
Yep.
I think if you can get all of those things right, then you're a good human.
Yep.
That's my synopsis.
Cool, man.
Oh, that's really good, man. Hard to top that. Yeah. My view now, how to be human is, it's just being in the same room and just sitting down together like us, looking at each other. Look, I understand your character, I understand your background, and how I can work with you, or do I vibe with you or do I not? Just knowing that. I think animals probably can't do that.
Yeah.
And being human, we can do that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean like you see people in Japan that's hermits, right? That stay in a room for 20 years.
Yeah.
Are they human? Because they don't do that. So that's my next question. So that kind of caught me as well. So just having that conscience. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, when I think about what it means to be human is knowing or looking for that, like that potential, like within, there's that something within all of us that keeps us like awake or going, or it brings joy, like you're saying, happiness, It's like a pursuit of something. Like what is to be human is to figure out that why.
Humans have pretty much the only species that have that option, right?
Yeah.
Animals don't really have that option.
No. And so what does it mean to be now?
So this one I haven't thought about for the last 3 or 4 years, but I think to be now is, for me, it's all about presenteeism, like to be present.
Yeah.
Like, because like my mind works in boxes, right? So I have boxes, like I said, health, wealth, love and happiness. So I'm like, okay, whatever it is that I'm doing at that time, like that is the thing I should be doing and giving my all to. Yeah. Like it's Diwali, right? So I'm going to go have lunch with my family after this. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm there. I've got to be there. When I'm there, I'm talking to everybody. Yeah. I'm saying thanks for the food. I'm saying happy Diwali, Yeah. Like, and I'm not thinking about, oh shit, like Monday, like how am I going to get this done or whatever. Like, I'm just there. Yeah. Yeah. Like I'm present.
Yeah. It's hard to get caught off guard though, I'm guilty myself sometimes. Yeah. I think about the future too much. Yeah. Or you get stuck up in the past. Like the past changed you down, and because of certain memories or bad situations that cause you to think differently at this present. Yeah. I think, even in the future, you can't think about the future too much. Yeah. But it hasn't happened yet.
It's like the fear of the unknown.
Yeah, right? Yeah. And you're using the fear of your past memories to determine what's going to happen in the future. Yeah. So you're neither there or there. Yeah. And so people get too caught up. Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me right now, it's learning to just know that I'm here because I'm meant to be here. Yep. You know, like you can like with everything's so available to us, like social media, you know, and you see everyone doing this and this and this, but like actually I'm kind of in this moment because of like everything I've done, all my experiences, but I'm here because I'm meant to be, you know, so just learn to like be okay with that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And that's dangerous, you know, about that social media thing, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people call it social media image crafting. Yeah, you're not seeing the real thing. They're showing the highlight reels and the good stuff. And it comes down to money as well. Like people look at it, hey, that guy's got a new car, that guy's got a new house.
Yeah.
But just showing you the pretty part.
Yeah.
And you look at our grandparents' time, they don't have bloody Instagrams and stuff like that. They just look at their friends. And they don't look at people that's overseas making millions of dollars.
Yeah.
They look at what's now. And with our teenagers and young people these days, they compare with themselves with everyone. You know, even strangers and thousands of people. Yeah. Imagine your 14-year-old son just goes on like, well, this guy's got a PS5 already. Yeah. Where's mine, Dad? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, this guy's got three cars already at 18 years old, example. And, you know, they get stuck into the loop and it's so toxic for a young person like that. Yeah. Yeah. You never truly live it now. Yeah. You worry about what can I get tomorrow or in the future. Yeah. And I want,
This is the, one of the Australian psychologists was talking about how to break the past. Like, whatever has happened was meant to happen. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And so whatever is happening now is meant to happen now. Yeah. So once you get comfortable with that, then you're like, like, if I'm meant to be here eating at the restaurant, like that's what's meant to be happening. So just enjoy it.
Just let it be.
If a car crash happened, like, thank God the car crash happened here and I'm still alive. It could have happened up there and with a bus and I would have died. Like, something always happened for a reason.
Yeah. I think it's gratitude, right?
Yeah. Just be here and be grateful for where you are right, like now, like it's in the definition. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Well, there we go. What a nice place to end, you know. And I think like I'm definitely very appreciative of you guys coming through and you know,
thanks for having us.
No, man, it was good.
It was fun stuff. Yeah.
It's good to bridge that gap between human and money. Yeah. Yep. Because they're often thought of two different things, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I've definitely learnt that I need to educate myself more or to get over that fear of being scared or not knowing, you know, and instead like be inquisitive about things like you're saying, you know, like I've never owned a credit card my whole life and I've always just been like, nah, I don't need it. But like I've never gone and even experienced having a credit card or researching into it. Yeah. So I think that's something that I'll do. And even just learning about like relationship with money and also like debt. I think you guys have definitely highlighted, like for me personally, I know that there's so much for me to like learn about. And I think it comes down to attitude and outlook, the attitude I have to money and things around finance and like wealth and my outlook to it.
Yep. 100%.
So we're trying to change.
Yeah, man.
Positivity around money and finance.
One person and one business at a time, man.
Cool. So thanks so much for coming along and you know, just enlightening us around or introducing, I'd say even, you know, to around money and finance. Where can people find more information around finance, wealth, even BetterCo in you guys?
YouTube and Google is the greatest, but I think if anyone wants any direction, just call us or like email us or whatever way. Yeah. Just Google BetterCo and you'll see us. Yeah.
Yeah. BetterCo.nz. Yeah. Or I think YouTube's a good place as well. Right. I learned a lot of stuff from YouTube, how to invest in property, shares, trading, cryptocurrency, you know. These are so readily available and, you know, these people actually dedicate their life to teach people. Yeah. Yeah. It's a good place to start. That's what you want BetterCo.
Like I just pick a few people like from the US Stevens or like good. Australia. Yeah. And just follow them on social. Yeah. Like I followed Gary Vee for ages and I've just kind of toned down on him a little bit. Yeah.
Kerwin Ray is pretty good too.
Yeah, Kerwin Ray is really good for me at the moment in Australia. Grant Cardone is like, he's a billionaire, so he gives
He's
me that whole like
next
aspirational thing, you know, like
Yeah.
I gotta watch him in small doses
Yeah.
before I turn into an asshole.
Yeah.
And then Jay Shetty's there to like calm you down. You know,
Yeah,
pick a couple of people that are well rounded, and I think you get a nice balance.
Yeah.
But don't be like one dimensional.
Yeah.
Pick the good stuff.
Yeah. Awesome.
Cool. Well, thanks so much, and thank you to if you've tuned in, whether you're listening, whether you're watching. I hope that you've benefited from something that we've talked about today. If you know someone who you think could benefit from this, we just ask that you share it forward to them. If there is anything that you'd like to hear about, anything that you think we should discuss, then please get in touch with us at info@thehumannow.co.nz. And until next time, be human, be now.